Hello again, I am Jim Bob, and welcome to the beginning of Season 3 of Challenge Mode here on F1 Manager. We are back with Aston Martin, and we are back with some new and improved, potentially, Challenge Mode rules. I have tweaked them a little over the last few days, and I'm ready to unleash those upon you all now. If you want to check them out for yourself, then they are in the video description down below. But we'll go through them just to go through what has changed and what has stayed the same. First rules are for drivers. The driver rules haven't changed. So once again, we cannot terminate a contract of a main driver. That has to run to its conclusion. And as before, reserve drivers, we can chop and change at any point. There's no restrictions on when we get rid of or hire a new reserve driver, but we can only promote a reserve driver if there is a vacant race seat, and the only way there can be a vacant race seat is if that driver's contract has expired, and then we can do the upgrade that way. So no change there. Staff contracts must be honoured and cannot be terminated early. That stays the same for the last two seasons we've done. Car development. Now this is where things are changing. So we can only make one major upgrade using the CFD and the wind tunnel per part per season. That's down from 2 last season, and this is going to include this pre-season period before Bahrain as well. So one major underfloor, one major rear wing, front wing, suspension, side pods, chassis, one each. That's it. We can't use ours to upgrade those parts again. We can still do minor upgrades, but they are now restricted as well. We are limiting ourselves to just 3 minor upgrades per part per season. So in total, we can do 4 developments per part. 1 with ours, 3 without. That's it for the entire year. That's going to make things very difficult, I think. And on top of that, not only have we banned intense development, we are now banning rushed development as well. So it's literally just standard, and with those restrictions, those limits put in place. Next, we go to research. This hasn't changed. It's still 1 major research project per part per season, and then minor research projects have no restrictions, so that stays the same. And then we are limiting the engineers. We are changing this slightly, so we're upping the maximum number of engineers from 12 to 15, but we are reducing the maximum number of engineers that can be assigned to any one project from the game's limit of 6 down to a self-imposed limit of 5. So we can only put 5 engineers on a single project at any point. That includes research. So that will make things a little trickier. It's certainly going to slow down our car development because we can't rush projects, and we can only use a maximum of 5 engineers, not 6, which will extend how long a project takes compared to last season. Then we go to facility upgrades, and I have made a couple of concessions here, and part of that is because of the bank balance. If you look in the bottom right corner at the moment, we have $53 million in the bank that we just haven't been able to touch because we've been so hamstrung by these developments. So we are taking a couple of restrictions off the board and then tightening up a couple of others when it comes to our facility upgrades. So if we go into the facilities, in the car development facilities, last year we could only make 2 upgrades in the entire category for the entire season. This season coming up, we're going to change that. We are taking the factory and the design center off the table. They can be upgraded as many times as we want, no restrictions. However, the wind tunnel, the CFD simulator, the suspension simulator, and the car part test center, we can only upgrade 1 of those 4 for the entire season. That's it. So if I want to upgrade the CFD simulator at the start of the new season, which I'm probably going to do given its condition, that's it. I can't upgrade the wind tunnel or the CFD again, or the suspension, or the car park test centre for the rest of the year. I only get to upgrade one facility that actually boosts development. Design centre allows us to add additional parts and gain extra engineers, but it doesn't change how the car itself is developed in terms of improving performance of parts. And the factory is purely manufacturing. It doesn't improve again the performance of any parts. It just speeds up how quickly those parts can be made, and it also speeds up, or it increases the number of parts that can be made at any one point. So we're taking the factory and the design center out of the restrictions, and then we are making it even tougher with the remaining 4. And as before, for the rest of the season, no limits on staff or operational facilities, and no limits on refurbishments either. So that will hopefully take care of our exploding bank balance, but still keep things a little tricky. And with the combination of those changes with the changes to actually developing the car, it's going to make things very, very tough for us, I think, going forward. So what do you think of the new rules? A little bit of a tweak here and there. We'll see how it goes. The hardest one is obviously going to be only just one major upgrade for the entire season. That's going to be the real kick in the teeth. And I'm probably going to regret that about halfway through the year when we get towards Spa and I can't bring a big update package. Yeah, that's probably when I'm going to start really, really feeling these changes. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So, let's say hello to everyone in the chat. Mr. Water, Anthony, Marcel, Farah, good to see you guys. Let's advance ourselves to the new season. So, sponsorship obligations up first. We are going to improve our merchandise. Race day factory events. We're on 10 at the moment. We'll increase that to 15. Factory events, where the team must host a sponsor event in the factory. We're on 24. We're going to drop that down a little bit to 20. Driver appearances. One or both of your drivers must make media appearances throughout the season. We are going to do this year. We didn't last year. We're going to do it with both drivers. And they're going to make a total of 5 media appearances each. Race weekend driver appearances. Again, we're going to do this with both of our drivers. And we're going to do that for, that's 10. Driver's control performance rating will be reduced. That's half the season for both drivers. And I can't turn that one off, but I can. I could reduce it to just one driver, but that would be unfair on the other ones. So we'll have to make it both to make it fair on both drivers. Race simulator events. We're not going to do any race simulator events because we want to keep that experience boost going as much as we can. Race hospitality. Yes, I'm just going to max this out because the hospitality bonus doesn't really mean anything. So we'll throw that on. That's an extra $500,000. Memorabilia, again, we'll just max that out to 25 days. It only brings an extra 157 grand, but it all adds up. So, our target for the season is to only score 50 points in 50% of this season's races. That's our long-term objective. We've got one season to do that. That seems a bit harsh. And our season objective is 7th or above. I expect those to change by the time we get to Bahrain, like they did last year. So, we shall see what happens there. Right now, we've got a starting balance of 61 million. That's a big balance. Just a reminder of the technical changes. You can see the research that we've gained and the research that we're losing on the car for the front wing and the rear wing. The side pods we're gaining all across the board. The underfloor and the suspension. There we go. Into the financial changes, the cost cap is coming down by 5 million, and this is the big one. The points are changing for the season, so instead of it being points to the top 8, it's now only going to be points to the top 6. So we're going back to early 1990s point scoring, and this is going to be very tough if we don't have a competitive car to get off. We need to get off to a strong start. And with the restrictions that we've just imposed on developing the car, that could be tricky. So let's go to select a powertrain manufacturer. Now, I am thinking of changing manufacturers this season. We raced with Mercedes for the last 2 seasons. Who do I want to go with this year? Evening Refill, welcome to the stream. So choices. Mercedes are going to give me a very durable engine. It's going to have the best wear resistance. It's going to have the best power loss threshold. It's got better thermal resistance and fuel efficiency than almost every car. Well, it's got better thermal efficiency. Not so much on fuel efficiency. The Renault, ridiculously efficient on fuel. The gearbox durability is not amazing. The ERS isn't amazing. I mean, I do kind of like the idea of going to a Honda engine, but I mean the ERS durability on the Honda is appalling at 35%. It's not a very fuel efficient engine either. Could go with a Ferrari engine. That's a bit more balanced. It's slightly lower on the wear resistance than the Mercedes. It's more powerful than the Mercedes, but has a higher power loss threshold, so it will start to fall away a little bit quicker. Thermal resistance is bad, so if we do take this engine, we're going to need good cooling for the engine. Gearbox durability is better than Mercedes. ERS durability is better than the Mercedes. Yeah, I think we'll go with Ferrari. It's the same cost as Mercedes. We're losing in a couple of places, but we are gaining in some others. We'll make cooling even more important this season, though, so we'll see how our car shakes out in that respect. So here we are then, at the start of a new season. Let's have a look and see what's happened in the off-season. We've got our new internal car reports. So our medium and high-speed cornering has gone down. Our high-speed dirty air performance has gone down. And the change on the high-speed dirty air has actually gone down significantly, nearly 3%. That's quite a big drop. But we have made substantial gains in a lot of other places. Look at the difference in engine cooling. Last year we had 33.92%. This year we're at 65%. Huge gains. I mean, we did do quite a few side pod upgrades and research projects as well. That definitely helps. And we did a lot of chassis upgrades, which also helped with the engine cooling. So that is really good, given that we've just taken on the engine with the worst thermal performance on the grid. Our speed has improved quite nicely. Acceleration's improved. DRS performance has improved. Yeah, this could be an interesting season. Take on their engine, just don't take on their bad decisions. Yeah, that's pretty much a given, I think. New regulations are now in effect. We've just gone through those. Here it is the team roster for 2024. So Red Bull have Max and Checo, and Giovinazzi has gone to Red Bull as their reserve driver. That is a bit of a surprise. Leclerc, Sainz still at Ferrari, and Nick de Vries joins them as their reserve driver. If we move down to Mercedes, it's Bottas, Russell and Piastri. And our new lineup has Isaac Hadjar as our reserve driver instead of Nico Hulkenberg. Moving down to Alpine, it's Danny Rick. And he is joining Esteban Ocon. So he's gone back to Renault, effectively. Deruvala is the reserve. Hamilton is with Norris. And Zay Maloney is the reserve. So Hamilton is going to be driving back at McLaren. And if they can get a good car, that is going to be a pretty potent combination of Hamilton and Norris. That's actually the combination I'm going for my third season of my McLaren file. There's the boo from Farah that I was expecting. Alfa Romeo have got Gasly, Vettel and Kubica. Kubica still somehow in a job. Don't know how. Alpha Tauri have Alex Albon, Yuki Tsunoda and Pourchaire as their reserve. And Haas have Schumacher, Magnussen and Vasseur is the reserve. Williams have Zhou, Stroll and Doohan as their reserve. So some interesting movements from the drivers there. Hamilton moving to from Mercedes to McLaren is a big one. That is a big one. And Ricciardo going back to Renault, which is now Alpine. That's a big change as well. And Bottas returning to Mercedes from McLaren. Big change there as well. Although that's a pretty regular change in most people's save files. We have got Oscar Piastri in a reserve role. Maybe we'll see him on the grid. Depends on how long his contract is. We might see him on the grid next season. So these are our allocations. We finished 4th last season. So we'll get a total of 40.8 MAU hours and 544 hours in the wind tunnel in total. That equates to 5.1 MAU hours per allocation and 68 hours per ATR period as well. So that's not too bad. That's pretty decent. Car part development is now open and available. And we need to have a look and see how good our car currently looks on paper compared to everybody else's car at this particular point in the season. So, car analysis. Here is the moment of truth. Oh, our speed is terrible. And our engine cooling is 19. How can I be 19th on engine cooling? I put so much into that. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, that's really bad. Our speed's not great. Our acceleration is not great. Our cornering performance is mighty. Our brake cooling is good, which is important. We needed good brakes. But how is the engine cooling that bad? Alright, let's see who's at the front. It's not Ferrari. It's not Ferrari at all. Is it Red Bull? Of course it is. Red Bull have the fastest car. They're pretty good in the corners. They've got mighty engine cooling as well. Let's take a look at Mercedes with Bottas and Russell. Oh, look at their straight line speed. That's worse than ours. Mercedes are going to struggle if they can't sort that out. Look at their DRS performance. 17th. Yeah, McLaren is who I was going to check next. I want to see what Hamilton and Norris have got to drive. Oh, wow. Look at that. 3rd. They've got a very, very quick car. And they're good in the corners as well. Not so good on the DRS. Their brake cooling needs a lot to be desired. And their engine cooling isn't much better. But McLaren are back. McLaren have got a really good car at this point. Things could change before we get to Bahrain, but yeah. Ooh, that is that's spicy. Right, who else do we need to check? Let's check Alpine. Alpine, middle of the road, decent average speeds, good acceleration, average in the corners. They're good in the low, average in the medium, not so good in the high speeds. Let's see who's next. Let's check Haas. Haas have got a pretty average car. You know, it's not bad in the speeds. It's okay in the corners. It's decent in DRS. Let's go to AlphaTauri. Very quick in a straight line, but terrible in the corners. They really need to work on their downforce generation. Alfa Romeo, pretty unusual to have such a bad acceleration and such a high top speed. Cornering isn't amazing. They might get a few interesting finishes throughout the season. And let's check on Williams, see how Williams are doing. Yeah, worst on the grid, and by quite a way by the look of it. You know, they've got terrible everything apart from cooling. Cooling looks decent, 11th and 13th. But yeah, it's going to be a very, very rough season for Williams. Right, we need to do some developments. We desperately need to improve our engine cooling to stop our engines from melting. And we also need to improve our drag reduction, because that is terrible. So we're going to start off with a rear wing. This is going to be our one and only rear wing upgrade. No. We're going to do a major side pod upgrade. Because we really need to get on top of that engine cooling. So this will hopefully have a big impact once we start moving sliders around. No, it's not. That's not good at all. And improving the drag is going to reduce the impact of... maybe we need to go for a chassis. Let's have a look at a major chassis. I still can't believe how bad our engine cooling is, considering all the research and development we put into engine cooling throughout the season to try and improve it. We just got really left behind. So we need to massively improve engine cooling. That gets us to 13th. I do need to improve drag reduction. That gets us to 15th. It also improves our speed. What about the airflow? That is having a bit of an effect. We can afford to lose a little bit of downforce performance on our middle airflow to gain some extra performance in cooling. I'm just seeing if it affects anything else. No, it's just the downforce. So we'll do that. We'll just do a slight improvement on middle airflow, but we'll concentrate on drag reduction and engine cooling with our one and only major chassis upgrade for the season. So let's go ahead and develop that. This will take 37 days. I've only got a limited number of engineers. I'm going to throw 2 engineers onto this, I think. We can only do normal. We are 74 days away from the start of the new season. I'm just going to go with 1 engineer. I think, no, we're limited to a maximum of 5 engineers per part, aren't we? So, and I can do a maximum of 3 parts. Yeah, that's good. We'll do that. So there we go. Now we need to do a couple of minor upgrades. I want to do a minor rear wing. So I want to focus on reducing drag. I want to improve DRS performance where I can. We're going to go with that, I think. I'm hoping that these changes I'm making are going to have... yeah, they are having a positive impact on speed. There we go. So we're deliberately sacrificing potential gains on the downforce because we've already got amazing downforce, but we've got really bad drag. So we're trying to improve drag reduction. We want to keep the DRS nice and powerful to help overcome the lack of immediate speed that we have. So we're managing to get a boost in speed and, more importantly, acceleration with the DRS. And that will significantly reduce our drag. So let's go with that. We're going to go with 5 engineers on this part. It'll take us 48 days. So that leaves me with 4 engineers remaining. And what do I want to do for the next one? Probably a minor side pod, I think. So again, we want to focus on drag reduction and engine cooling. Got to try and bring that engine cooling down as much as we can. Let's drop a bit more performance off here, if we can, without sacrificing too much. I think that's probably the best I can do. That's worth about 2% gain on cooling, according to this. And again, it just gives us a little boost to DRS acceleration and a little bit more reduction on our drag to improve our top speed slightly. So we'll go with that, and we'll go with 4 engineers on that. And there we go. We've got 3 new parts on the way. We still have 48 million to spend, so we're going to go into our facilities and we are going to go ahead and upgrade our design center. I've got 1 upgrade available out of wind tunnel, CFD suspension and car part for the entire season, and we're going to go ahead and throw that onto the CFD simulator, and we're going to get that out of the way now. It will take most of pre-season for that to go through, but once the season started, we'll have an improved facility, and we should get the benefits of that for the entire year. Staff facilities, do we need to fix anything? Not yet, but the team hub is going to break very, very soon. Race sim is probably going to be okay until the first race of the season, and it's probably going to break right before Bahrain. Operationally, we're good on the boardroom. We're upgrading our hospitality. Weather's fine. Helipad does need to be upgraded. We'll do that at the beginning of March. Memorabilia is fine, and tour center is fine. So, staff, do I need to make any changes here? Nope. Nope, we are okay so far. Do I have any points to spend? I should have checked this before we actually got started, but it makes sense that we don't. I've got a point for Isaac already. He's only been with the team a day, and he's already got a point. Good lad. He's keen. Gotta love that. Right. There is nothing else for us to do now except advance some time. And who knows, maybe Hamilton won't win any races, Barrow. Maybe he'll win the championship. Oh, what would happen then? I think we would literally hear a brain exploding out of the ears if that happened. Right, we have some scouting results back. There's a little, hey, you're doing well with Isaac. So we've got Georges Deschamps. 12 months on his contract. Jessica Nichols. Let's have a look at her profile. Oh, her reactions are terrible. Most of her stats are terrible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stats in the 30s. Yeah, no, that's really bad. We know about Ollie. Ollie is just awesome. That's where he is at the moment right now. If we compare him to Isaac, you can see he's better than Isaac pretty much everywhere. Yeah, but we've got Ollie on our Williams file, so that's why I didn't use him on this one. Scouting on Yuri Vips and Logan Sargent, who is with Prema. Interesting. Right. Is there anyone else that we can scout? Alonso in free agency. Nobody wanted Alonso. We're going to have to scout Giovinazzi, seeing as he's gone to Red Bull. Nobody wanted Nico, but, you know, that doesn't surprise me. We better scout Latifi, just in case he somehow manages to worm his way back onto the grid. Anyone else? I suppose we better scout Robert as well. Or Bobby K. Alright, let's start scouting some staff. We've got no one out of contract at the end of this year, I don't think. Yeah, Ben's still got a year left rather than 11 months. So we've still got over a year left on Ben's contract. Let's start having a look at technical chiefs. Is there anyone new in here? FX is still at Williams. B is still available. Ada Gomez. Is that new? Might be new. Let's have a look at Ada Gomez. And I think Tota is new as well. So we'll do that with our last scout. There we go. Alright, the suspension simulator is refurbed. And now the car part test centre is knackered. So we'll refurb that. And the team hub's knackered now, so we'll refurb the team hub. Jeffrey McDonald is a new driver, I think. Don't recognise him. Have to keep an eye on him. There we go. We've got a refurb done on the car part test centre. Scouting results. I'll look at those some other time. We'll start speeding through a little bit. We've got our chassis done. This is our major, one major chassis upgrade for the season. Better get the notebook out, actually. Start writing these down so we can keep track. So, we've got chassis, then it's view in the warehouse. So what have we got? Chassis, front wing, rear wing, side pods, underfloor, and suspension. So we get one of each of the majors and 3 of the minors. There we go. So we've done our major chassis upgrade for the season. That one's gone. We've burnt that one already. Let's go ahead and manufacture that because we're going to get that onto the car. So let's manufacture. No rushed manufacturing. We've just got plenty of time. Let's manufacture 3 of those. There we go. We've got a availability to do another upgrade now. So we've also done our first minor rear wing, so we've only got 2 of those left for the entire season now, although we still have the major. And same with the side pods, so I can only do 2 minor side pods for the rest of the year and 1 major for the rest of the year. Let's do a new suspension. So again, it's going to be a minor suspension, and I want to do what I normally do, which is to focus on cooling, but I'm also going to focus on drag reduction, and then try and just undo any damage that we're going to do here as much as possible. I think that's going to be it. There we go. So that will give us a bit of an improvement in drag reduction. Why has that changed? We're going down in performance. Alright, so I've got to go there then. Yeah, there we go. So we're at least getting some improvements, but nothing major. But we are getting a nice little bit of improvement on our brakes. That'll help. We're getting a nice big chunky 5% improvement on drag reduction. That'll help there as well. And when we start combining this with the other upgrades, that should hopefully be quite nice. I have got 1 engineer. Okay. We'll start that. We can always drop another engineer on. When the next part finishes tomorrow. Let's see. So that's our first minor suspension burns for the rest of the season. Wow, we are burning through these upgrades already. Still got 22 races to go. Okay. Factory's now in poor condition. Let's go ahead and upgrade the factory. There we go. Everything else is being taken care of. There we go. So if we go to the warehouse, so we can get to car development nice and quickly. And go to current projects, we're going to add an extra engineer onto the suspension just to take an extra couple of days off that. I want to try and give us a little bit more time to get a couple of suspensions out before the season starts. So I'm actually going to go 3 engineers. There we go. So that will give us a window of 9 days to try and rush out a couple of suspensions before Bahrain. And that leaves us with only 2 engineers left. Ooh, okay. Let me take an engineer off the rear wing. So I'm going to go ahead and take 2 off. Like that. There we go. That's only going to add 1 additional day onto the completion time. And what do I want to upgrade now? We could do a minor front wing upgrade. Or I could do a minor floor upgrade. Let's do a minor floor upgrade. No hours available. Definitely want to improve drag reduction as much as we possibly can. I'm going to pull these back a bit. Let me just check and see, is that actually affecting the top speed? Doesn't look to be. Let's have a look at the sensitivity. That will improve. There we go. How long is that going to take with 4 engineers? 75 days. So that will drop just after Imola. Okay. We shall go ahead and start that. So that's our first minor floor upgrade. Wow, that's upgrade number 5 already. 4 minors, 1 major. And I'm going to go ahead and take another engineer off the rear wing. And add it to the underfloor project. And now we can just sneak that in before Imola. Alright, so let me have a quick catch up with the chat because I've been busy staring and writing. Okay, all caught up. Right, advancing time again. That was our first chassis manufacturing. Team Hub facility is now refurbished. Isaac has got 2 more development points already. Oh, good stuff. So we'll boost his braking nicely. There we go. Freddie's got a point. Going to boost his braking. Felipe, going to boost his reactions. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to check. Yep, got points for my design staff. Ah, that's stupid. So, what's going to be our next major upgrade? Probably a rear wing. So, let's go ahead and add a point onto rear wings. Alessandro needs to work on drag reduction even more. No, we do have a point for Ben. There we go. Pit crew's already really good, so I'm actually going to speed up feedback a little bit, just so we get feedback from Felipe a little bit faster in practice sessions. How are we looking over here? Small improvements, nothing substantial. I do have some scouts to allocate. So let's go ahead and start scouting. Oh, Dirk's gone to McLaren. That's a big change. Jared is at Ferrari. Tondi's still at Mercedes. Dickon still at Alfa Romeo. Sorry, Alfa Tauri. Matthias Peter. Do I have his stats? Oh, there we go. So, very bad high-speed performance, but everything else is good. His high-speed performance is the only thing that lets him down there. Aaron, we'll go ahead and scout Aaron as well. And Mitch has gone to Alpine in a swap with Dirk de Beer, because he was at McLaren. Okay, there we go. That's all of our scouts allocated out. What do we have in here? Just a notification about improving the team hub. Good. Hospitality is refurbished. Our rear wing is done. So, let's go ahead and start manufacturing the rear wing. I want 3 of those. And now we can start work on a front wing. So again, it's going to be a... Oh, do I wait? No, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to save the hours at this point. Let's see. We want to improve brake cooling. I'm not overly concerned about improving the downforce at this stage. What I do want to look at is improving speed Yeah, that only seems to be affecting. It's having a minor effect on DRS, but it's a very minor effect. We'll go with that, I think. Let me just drop these down and click as well. So again, we are sacrificing grip. Well, we're sacrificing mechanical performance for aero performance here. We are taking some downforce off the car, or potential downforce off the car, to try and make the car less draggy and faster in a straight line, because it's already going to be a beast in the corners. And we've got 2 engineers. That's 60 days, so that will be ready just before Imola, or just after Imola. So let's see. I've got to lose a day. What can I tweak to get a day back? That. There we go. Yeah, that works. In fact, we actually lost a little bit more high-speed performance than low speed. So let's go back and do that instead. Yeah, there we go. 59 days. That'll drop on the day of the Grand Prix. So that's 2 minor upgrades that'll be available for Imola: a new floor and a new front. A new front wing as well. Nice, very nice. And I need to now mark that in the book. There we go. So that is 6 upgrades, either in development or have already been developed so far this season. That's 1/3 of our total number of upgrades available for the car gone already. Oh man, I think I might have got a little OTT with the restrictions on this one. Our CFD simulator is done. That's in time for the next ATR period. That's excellent. So there is our car in terms of post-Barcelona test results. So not great speed, brilliant cornering, good, very, very, very good DRS. Dirty air performance is pretty good. Brake cooling good. Engine cooling is abysmal. But we haven't put any of the new parts on the car yet. How large is my notepad? It's a very small notepad. It really is. It's I think it's like A6. Yeah, it's an A6 notepad. It's not very big at all. I'm quite efficient with the space. Right, we're 15 days away. Let's have a look at the calendar. So we've got the chassis manufacturing finishing there. New ATR period starts in a few days. We've got suspension ready there, and we've got pre-season test results in a week. So let's get ready to see what else we can throw on the car, ready for the next test. Let's have a look. Board confidence check-in. The board has high confidence in our leadership. Obviously pleased with the way things are going, and that's the improvement that the chassis is going to bring based on our current chassis to our new one. That's quite significant. So let's go ahead and install the new chassis on both cars. Front wing's being worked on. Rear wing, we have those available. Let's install those. Side pods. Oh, I didn't even start manufacturing these, did I? Oh, what an idiot. Let's go ahead and make 2 of those. We've got 19 days, so we're going to have to rush those to get them on. I can't believe I forgot to start the side pods. Rear wing, we've just done those. Underfloor is in development. Suspension is about to be ready. There we go. New ATR periods. Probably 5,000 pages. No, it is 160 pages. 160 pages, A6. It's not a very big notepad. Right, so what am I looking at doing here? Building a suspension. So I need 3 of these. We're going to have to rush that to get those 2 of those in time for the Grand Prix. There we go. Just have to hope we don't bin one. Wait, did I just make front wings? No. What did I just put into... Yeah, there we go. Suspension. Yeah, suspension. That's good. I am not starting a new project just yet. I want to see how the car does before we think about where we want to go with our next upgrade. Yeah, that's fine. Pre-season test results, there will still be a slight improvement on the car from now until the Grand Prix itself, but let's see. We have improved our speed, we've improved our DRS, we have improved our engine cooling, but it's still not amazing. Still mighty in the corners. Right, go to car setup. We haven't put the new side pods on yet. Let's put those on. So the air cooling benefit we were getting was purely from just the chassis. Now we've got the side pods on as well. And where are we with that now, I wonder? Suspension. I've got 1 suspension I can throw on. Let's have a look. 13 on the engine cooling. That's a significant improvement. Oh wow, top speed is now 5th. So a very significant upgrade now that we've got all those parts on. So our car is going to be very, very good. That is encouraging. So I put a lot of research into it, so it better be damn well good. Plus these upgrades that we're putting on, very specifically targeted as well. Right, car builds. Let's have a look. Chassis. They're both on the right chassis. They are both on the same front wing. They're both on the same rear wing. Side pods. They are both on the side pods. Underfloor hasn't been done yet. Your new car is shit. That's unfortunate, Anthony. I feel sorry for you there. There we go. Suspensions on both cars as well. You've got time to turn it around. So there we go. Once we've got all the parts on, we dropped to 7th. Plus, yeah, some other teams have brought some stuff on. We do have a drop in our dirty air low speed performance, as well as our low speed cornering. So we have sacrificed in a couple of areas to try and get that speed down, but it's worked. I mean, you can see there we're 7th in the speed trap now, which is excellent. Let's set some targets for this season for our opening race. Qualifying position, the incentive, 1 in the top 8. Hopefully, yeah. We should hopefully have the ability to do that. We've got a very good car, but not the greatest driver lineup. Reach Q3, I'm going to say 1 car's going to get in Q3. No, we're going to be brave. We're going to say both cars are going to make it to Q3. And obviously both are going to get into Q2. Fastest lap is the incentive guarantee. We're going to try and get both cars to finish in the top 8. Just outside the points will be our target. Finish position streak is 1 car in the top 10 for 4 races. Quali streak, we're going to try and go both cars in the top 10 for 5 races. don't know if that's going to be achievable. We won't really know until Jeddah, because this first race is a bit of an outlier. Generally, you can do really well at Bahrain and then do awful in the next two races at Jeddah and Australia, before some upgrades start dropping in around Imola. So yeah, we'll see. Let's go to Bahrain.
Welcome to the archipelago of Formula One. Bahrain might have a small land footprint, but it's showing its big spirit right now in the grandstands. Either way, it's time for another fantastic weekend of Grand Prix racing. The Bahrain International Circuit is a challenging track, and the cars routinely have to brake from high gear to low to take the narrow turns. With the need for downhill braking, the risk of locking up is one drivers will need to manage. It's all about focus and balance to get victory here. At this early stage in the season, there are still plenty of opportunities for things to change. In this sport, there simply are no guarantees. The weekend begins here.
Yeah, I noticed that as well, Varro. While I was looking at the, I looked at the clock while Crofty was doing his thing. I said it would take us about an hour to get the pre-season out of the way, and it took us about an hour. So here we go, Bahrain. Now, this season we are going to be swapping our drivers out every race, so that we can start developing Isaac. So let's start by taking Freddie out in this session. We're going to go with soft tyres. We're going to go with 17 lap runs while we find out where the car setup is. We are going to be looking after components as much as possible. And let's start with car number 1. We want to go with a 5 and 11, a 5.5, a 3.45, and a 0.7. There we go. Let's have a look at car 2. We're going to go again with an 11 on the rear wing. We're going to go a 4.11, a 6.4, a 3.35, and a 0.35, and we'll see if that works. Hey, if I could do lotto numbers, I wouldn't be doing this. Mind you, I probably would be doing this just a lot more often. I don't do this for the money, I do it for the fun. But I'd be doing it in much more comfortable surroundings.
Radio check. Radio check.
Okay, we'll send out Felipe. Now. And then we'll send out Isaac. There we go. There we go. It's the ham cam. And seeing the number 44 in yellow on that McLaren just seems a bit weird. I've got to change, check, see if our objectives have changed. because they did last season between the start of the year and the start of the season. Has any of the driver lineups changed? Because we've had that happen before as well.
Just had a spin.
If you remember, Vashaw got promoted in place of Latifi on our, was it our Williams file? I think it was our Williams file. Latifi was signed for Haas and then was gone again the very next day.
What's your thoughts on coming in or doing any more?
Oh, that's a great start for Isaac there. 99%. Excellent stuff. We're about to find out for Felipe. 88. A little bit more work needed. So normally when I do my reserve drivers on the track, as soon as they get feedback, I call them in and then send them back out. And again, as soon as I get feedback, call them back in, because all they need to do is hit 500 points, and they do that on a long single run. So over 2 runs, they'll hit that very quickly. But on the first race of the season, I always send them out for the entire session, because it's all about building up car part knowledge. And while they're driving round, they're gaining car part knowledge for the team, not just for him. So a little tip there for you guys. We want to up the run plan to 18 laps because we called him in a little bit early. We're going to put on a fresh set of boots. And here comes Felipe into the garage.
Pit lane.
Yeah, copy that.
So we need a little bit more change work here, and we need to change the rear wing, so that's got to go to an 11.5. Okay, so everything else is in very close territory, so let's go to 3.4. That is a bit of a change on the front wing. I don't know if it's going to be the right way though. I'm going to go to 5 on the front wing. I'm going to pull that back. Actually, I'm going to go 5.5. Pull that back like that, and then we'll cancel some of that movement on the camber outwards. Change the toe to get that back to perfect. Yeah, let's give that a try. Fresh set of boots. 18 laps of fuel. 17 laps of fuel is fine. Let's make those changes. So while both cars are in the pits at the moment, neither, no progress has been made on car part knowledge. Again, that's why I've staggered the drivers, brought Jar in a couple of laps early, because it means I can get him out quicker and immediately start accruing some knowledge on the car again. And then once... There you can see the line's going to go back up again now. Once Felipe gets out, that line gradient will improve just a little bit. So you'll see the line get steeper. We should have had a proper look, I suppose, at where everybody was on the grid going into this Grand Prix, obviously after all the pre-season development and testing. Williams are looking competitive, but that is because they're on softs with Zhou. Stroll a bit more representative, but he is still faster than Vettel and Albon. Are they really that far down the grid?
I think we've had a car run wide.
Verstappen being that much faster than everybody else on mediums is potentially a bit of a worry. A lockup for Isaac. Kept it going. No damage. That's good.
Looks like there's been a lockup. Oh, did someone run
There's the
wide
feedback.
there?
We got the car to 100. Excellent stuff. We guessed the right way on that. So now we just need to keep him on track till the end of the session. Cancel that call in, because we're looking to build up as much car part knowledge as we can. So every lap he does helps.
How does it feel?
We have improved Felipe's setup by 2%. So definitely some more work needed there.
The checkered flag is now out.
We're going to cancel the call in for Felipe. So when he crosses the line, or when he gets around the corner, he'll cross the line and do basically an in-lap rather than making this his in-lap. And again, that just gives us that little extra bit of car knowledge. Okay, good first session. Into the second session. Oh, I know what I forgot to do. No, I did do it. I thought I forgot to tell them to avoid curbs and clean air and stuff. No, we did actually do that. We're going to go hard tyres in this session. So, Freddie needs to run for the entire session in one go. So that is 38 laps of fuel. Felipe, we need to make some changes to his car. Okay, we got the rear wing spot on. Let's see if we dial that back to, or maybe dial it up. No, I think dialing it up's the wrong way. Let's go to a 4.5, but we want to change that without really changing it. So we're going to have to make the change with camber. Maybe if I can do it that way, and then hang on a minute, here we go. We're going to change this. We're going the wrong way here, so that needs to be about there. Then that is substantially off now with the cornering, so we can pull that back that way. This is going to break the rear wing though. Do I have to go to a 7.3 and then work backwards from there? I might have to do that. Which means that can go back to there. Right, we're going to go with that. 5.11.5, 7.3, 3.05 and a 0. And hopefully that will fix the issue there. We're going to try and fuel for a single run, but obviously if we are not where we need to be on the setup, we can always pull him in halfway through, do a quick change, and then send him back out again with a smaller fuel load to run to the flag. So into practice 2 we go.
Radio check, radio check.
Radio check.
So Freddie gets his first taste of the brand new car. Hopefully he doesn't do anything stupid to it. How are you getting on, Anthony? Not good. Yeah, that's a shame. Where are you running right now? And who's partnered up with Norris for this season?
What do you think?
Alright, we've nailed Felipe's car setup. Excellent stuff. Is this season 1, race 1? Are you at Bahrain? Because if so, that's not horrendous. McLaren performance in the first few races is always poor, but once you start bringing in the upgrades, the car can turn around. If you've got good development and you focus in on certain areas, you can improve the car quite quickly with McLaren because they've got very good facilities. And that's honestly how I got a lot of my good results in my first season in the earlier races anyway, was by just hanging on to the trains and going with them. And if that means sometimes you just spend a couple of corners, burning a little bit of battery just to make sure that you stay into the stay in that 1 second window going into the DRS zone, then that's what you do. But yeah, I mean, the first few races are going to be painful. Jeddah's going to be especially painful in season 1 at McLaren. You're going to be very much off the pace, and Australia as well.
Oh, we've had a spin.
Have you seen Farah, who's top of the timing sheets right now?
We've just had a car run wide.
I think I might open up a I might open up a fake Twitter account, just call it Farah29A on Twitter with the hashtag HamFan4Life. Go 44. So yeah, a very quick Lewis Hamilton in that session there. This is going to be a very interesting season. Alright, we've got good track knowledge and car knowledge with both of our drivers. Got both cars at 100%, so we just need to bring them home to get to 100. Alright, there we go.
Radio check.
Radio check.
But I've got the spinning circle.